Hi guys, it's Annie, welcome back to Boom TV. I have another haul video for you today, and I know in my last video I said I wasn't going to do another haul video, and I probably wouldn't have another haul until Christmas, and that has turned out to be so ridiculously untrue, it's unreal. And I don't quite know how, but anyway, we're gonna just roll with it because this is gonna be my November book haul, and then I also made a book outlet order last night, and I said I wasn't gonna buy anything on Black Friday, and we don't ship. I mean, we don't have Black Friday really in the UK. It's not like a nationwide holiday, or kind of like event, but yeah, Book Outlet had a massive sale. I have no regrets. Well, I do, my bank account does. But let's just get into the haul. So I only have 5 books this month, but I just thought I'd make a video anyway because then I have a Book Outlet unboxing which will probably be up kind of towards just a bit before Christmas, but kind of mid-December, because that's when my books are due to arrive. So I thought I'd just stick these quick books in here. So the first book I've got was actually something that's not a permanent book of mine, and it is Girl Reading by Katie Ward, and me and one of my best friends, Alice on Tumblr, who is Flourish and Botted, she's probably watching this, so she will recognise this book. We have an exchange thing that we started, where we exchange each other's favourite books via the mail, and we write annotations in them and kind of doodles, and we write letters to each other anyway, but we decided this book thing would be a really nice idea, and this is the second book that she sent me, and I really loved the book that she sent me last month, or the month before, which was Golden Boy by Abigail Tartalan, and this is basically a book that's full of short stories about women reading over many different historical periods, and I'm just really excited to read this. Like, I do not read short stories at all, really, apart from for school, and Katie Ward is someone who I've never read before. This might be her only book, quite possibly. She's someone that I hadn't really heard of, but I had heard of this book and the concept behind it. And I'm just really excited to read this, and I think it will be really kind of out of my comfort zone, but something that I'm going to really enjoy. And it's by Virago Press, or publishing, and they are generally a publishing company that I trust, and so I'm really excited to read this. And yes, thank you very much, Alice, if you're watching this, for sending this book to me. And the next book I have is one that I think it's like my only pre-order in November, and it is Girl Online by Zoe Sugg, and I've read this already, so like the spine is creaking. And if you don't know, Zoe Sugg, it says here actually, is the creator of Zoella, which is probably one of the most famous YouTube channels. Zoe is a blogger and a vlogger, and she makes kind of general life videos, but she also she started out as doing fashion and beauty videos, and she was probably one of the first YouTubers that I ever started watching kind of regularly and subscribed to. And when she came out that she was writing a book, I was quite apprehensive, because I knew that it wasn't... I knew that she'd been approached to write a book by Penguin, and that it wasn't something... I don't know, I have very mixed feelings about the kind of... Basically, it's kind of common knowledge that this book was published because of who she was, and I think that's fab that she's had that opportunity, but I also think that there are a lot of writers out there who are trying very hard to make their own way in the publishing world, and are not being given deals because they don't have 6 million subscribers on YouTube, and that makes me upset to say that, but it's true. I'm not going to be naive about this, but... Ooh, that was my phone. But and I've already read this, so I'll talk about it more in my wrap-up and stop rambling about it here in this haul. But yeah, this kind of premise kind of did intrigue me, although it seemed very kind of straightforward, very unoriginal, but that's kind of a bad way to put it. But basically, it is about a girl called Penny who is kind of struggling with life. She's very she's very clumsy. Her best friend is Elliot, and he doesn't go to her school, and it's kind of about friendship and family and first love, and quite a kind of YA cutesy romance, which was exactly what I was in the mood for when I picked this up and it arrived. And also, what the main reason that I picked this up, aside from the fact that I would be supporting Zoe, was that Penny is starting to have panic attacks and anxiety, and I think this should be covered more in YA books, and I don't think it's covered enough. And with mental illness in general, I don't think it's covered enough in the right way, and that was the aspect that I was really looking forward to reading about. So I'll talk about this more in my wrap-up. But one side note is that this cover is beautiful, and I really love it, and the colour of the book is just so pretty. And then the next book I have is one that I got when I went to Foyles in London. I hadn't been since they'd redeveloped it, and it was so beautiful inside. I'm kind of a bit uncertain because I really loved the old one and how kind of there were loads of surprise rooms that you could it was kind of higgledy-piggledy a bit, and I kind of quite liked that about it. But the new one is really beautiful, and they are so well stocked. It's kind of incredible. Their YA section is phenomenal. And so I went in and I got Fixing Delilah by Sarah Ockler, and I wasn't really sure what book to get. And then I was basically spent 2 hours in there trying to decide what book to buy, because I went up to see a couple of exhibitions with my dad, and I said that I needed to go to Foyles to buy a book because I needed to go and see what the new shop was like. And yeah, I've already read this, so again I'll be talking about it in my wrap-up. And I'd already read 20 Boys Summer by Sarah Ockler quite a few years ago and really enjoyed it as a YA contemporary, and this is what I was in the mood for, so again I bought it and I'll be talking about it more in my wrap-up. And then the next book I have was another book that I didn't have on pre-order but made the stupidest mistake ever about, and it is The Retribution of Mara Dyer by Michelle Hodkin. And I'm not going to go into the plot of this because this is the third book, as you probably all know, in a trilogy, so it's the final book. But basically the premise for this series is Mara, before the beginning of the first book, was in a tragic accident involving her friends and her boyfriend, and they all died and she was the only survivor, and as a consequence of that she is now suffering from PTSD, and she starts suffering from hallucinations as an effect of that, and you don't quite know if these hallucinations are real and are truly happening or if it's kind of an effect of the PTSD and it's all made up, because Mara believes that she can kill people with her mind. This series has one of my favourite male characters ever in the form of Noah Shaw. A lot of people really love Noah, and I am no different, which is really, I read the second book from the library, and that is really why I carried on with the series, was because of Noah, and because of the premise, which I find so intriguing. And again, I've already read this month, so I'll go into it in more detail in my wrap-up, but I was, like some people, I was slightly disappointed with how the plot turned and how kind of the story developed, and it wasn't a development that I thought was needed, and it wasn't the direction that I wanted the story to go in personally, but I still did really enjoy this, and I will go more in depth into this in my wrap-up. But yeah, I was so stupid. I should have bought this in Foyles, but I was like, oh no, I don't need to buy that. I can get it from the library, because I'd read the first 2 previous books from the library. Then realised when I got home that my library didn't have that book, and that it would probably take ages to order it in, so then had to stupidly buy it like the day after the release date on Amazon, when I should have just bought it in Foyles in the first place or pre-ordered it so I would have got it signed. The tragedy. But yeah, I will go into a more in-depth review in my wrap-up. And the final book I got was actually something I think I got in like the end of September or I think October, and it is Fruits Basket Volume 1 by Natsuki Takaya. I think I'm pronouncing that right. This is, again, as I said, a manga. Fruits Basket is the first anime that I ever watched, and I've watched the whole anime and I really love it. So, but except when I first watched the anime, I found the ending quite dissatisfying, and my friends who I was discussing it with said that it was, obviously I knew it had been based on a manga, but they said the plot in the manga was a lot more kind of in-depth, and that the anime only cut off at like halfway through the plot of the manga. and that the plot in this was a lot more complex. So I was like, of course I have to, and I really wanted, this is my first ever manga, and I really wanted to pick it up and kind of start reading manga, because I read graphic novels and really love them, and manga's something that I really want to get into. So I was like, I'll go with Fruits Basket because it's classic. The slight problem with Fruits Basket is that it's out of print. And that you can only buy it second hand, or if you want to buy it new, it's very extortionately priced in the UK. Like on Amazon Marketplace, a new copy I think is about £40, and I was like, for something that I'll probably read in about 2 hours, that is seriously not worth it, and especially considering this is 23 volumes long as a manga series. But yeah, I have also read this in November, and I will be getting more into my wrap up. But I ordered this from Abe Books, which is the website that I buy from if I'm buying second hand, if I'm not buying from Amazon Marketplace. And it arrived in actually fairly good. I only got it good because to me it's manga, and I won't have to spend a long time reading it, so I can kind of put up with it being in a not fabulous condition. But I do eventually want to collect this, so I want them in fairly good condition. And the only problem was that it arrived a bit bent, but that was as a result of being shipped from America and also taking a month to arrive. But I enjoyed this, and I will go more into my review in my wrap up. So those are all the 5 books, and I've somehow managed to make this video 11 minutes long, even though there's only 5 books. But it's okay, it's fine. Those are all the books I bought in November. Sorry that my October wrap-up still isn't up. I don't even know if I'm going to bother doing one now, because on the weekend I'm going to be filming my November wrap-up. So I really apologise for that. But if you do want to see the books I read in October, you can just go look on my Goodreads page, which will probably be linked below, as well as my blog, and also, what else can I link? Oh, my Twitter as well. So I will see you guys all really soon. Thank you for watching. Bye!